Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at techtrader.com. It's Saturday, October the 12th. This is the weekend webinar. Well, folks, obviously some historical stuff happened last week with the indices, Dow and S&P making new highs, NDX not. I'll show you that in a moment. And I usually don't show you the Dow, but I'm going to. Here's the S&P 500, sneaking up to across 5,800 to get up to 5,822 and finishing at 5,815, up 35 or about 0.6%. Onward and upward. The channel top, the long-term channel top, says something around just under 6,000 or around 6,000 might be a target. Here's the NASDAQ 100 moving but not keeping pace, meaning it's still below the July high, but there is some resistance here on the gap fill. It filled the gap a couple weeks ago, pulled back to support and bounced. Right now we're right at support here, and if we can blow through this level, we may test the high with 20,690. So that could be your target. And we get through that, then you're on your way to much higher levels, potentially all the way up to 22,500. That's all that's possible. We'll see if this is a 1, 2, 3, and whether 3 is still extending. So stay tuned on that. That's the NASDAQ 100. Small caps popped out of a flag, a 3-week flag pattern, jumped out about 2% on Friday. After holding the moving averages and this pattern for about 3 weeks, again, we got a pop. The key resistance 225, and then the spike high here 228.5. Your target will be eventually 234 and 240. Transportation stocks spiked on Friday, jumping 2.1%, 340 points, and you can see how it held support as well, and right back up against key resistance. It's got to get to 16.4. 415 range. There's a few highs in that zone. You can see that's key resistance. If through, 16,850 might be something that will make, could be a potential target. Now the underlying technicals show that the McClellan oscillator is near flat. Despite the bounce, we were minus 100, and now we're plus 1, so pretty much neutral. And of course, nowhere near overbought, which could help the market if we run some, before he gets extremely overbought. We have a lot of room. 2108, that's the TC2000 signal symbol for the percentage of stocks above their 40, jumped from 47 to 56%, or up about 8 points, a 16% move just on Friday alone, and a nice snapback. This is again, somewhat neutral indicator, not quite overbought. You'd have to get up near 75.80. And the VIX volatility index, fairly neutral, 20 and a half, although it's been down in that 15, 16 range for a while. If this should pop suddenly above 24, then maybe we'd start a spike run that could get the market extremely overbought, but again, not there yet. So what do the NASDAQ generals look like that lead the market? They're also, most of these are in the S&P 500, of course. Apple, coming off the May lows in the 165 range, ran up to 237, came down, bounced, and did a V-bottom, a right-hand extension, and a pop, and now a coil. You can see where key resistance lies. No question, we got to get over 233. You do that, 237.5 and 248.50 might be targets. The high being 237.25, so that's where we got to get through. There's your long-term chart. It's pretty impeccable. Apple. What about Amazon? Doing great. Amazon had a 4-day rally this week, bringing it back from 180 to 188.5. And you can see from the low spike in August, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave's underway. Could lead to a retest of the July high around 200, 201. You get through that, you're looking at 208.9. Google, really interesting left shoulder, head, right shoulder forming, but it's at or near the shoulder line. I need it to hold here, get up to 171, and then you look at a 178, 84, 92, etc. But for now, careful. Don't let this get under 160.61. Microsoft, weaker pattern in that this could be a massive top. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, I'm not sure. But the bottom line is if Microsoft comes up through this declining top sign we've been in for about a month, it would have to take out 442 to really break out and indicate that it's resurrected the entire trend from the lows, and perhaps a change of angle. I want to show you something. Here's what I'm thinking. This could be what's in play here on Microsoft longer term. And this. So if in fact this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and Microsoft does not break down and breaks back out, then it's headed probably to in the area of 515. That's 100 points up. I don't know if that's the case here. And certainly you want to protect yourself against any rollover. I would say Microsoft has to be stopped under 400. Simple as that. I wouldn't be happy even if it went below the last week's low, which was 408. So those are your two support levels. Netflix, solid with new all-time highs. On Friday, it reached a new high at 736 before reversing to 722, and it was a down day, maybe an engulfing reversal day as well. See it right there? Too early to tell. One down bar does not a trend make. The overall trend is still sharply higher. If the market blows up, there should be 775. And Meta, certainly as strong as anything out there. New all-time highs this week. Looks like this has got legs to reach 625 area for the short term. NVDA, a monster of the midway, beautiful recovery, has got above the August highs. Not quite a new all-time high. That was a spike up to 140 3/4. We're now 6 points from that. So that would be your initial targets to take that out. But in looking at the overall trend, if this is a large long-term 1, 2, 3, and this is 4, and the fifth wave would take you over 200. I'm not an LA wave expert, but that's the overall basic count that I'm seeing. Key support though, right there, 115.16. You want to avoid that. Initial support at 125. Tesla's been having its problems. Really got slam dunked the last 2 weeks after almost reaching the July high by getting up to about 264. And it's plunged about 45, 50 points, and you can see Friday closing below the trend line, below the 50-day moving average, and right at the next price support range. But this is the bigger one here for me, 208. You break 208, you might see something about 193.4. So careful here, because this one is the weakest of the lot, and it's breaking it's right at the trend line. Take a look at this. Look, connect this point with that spike low and this spike low. Either we bounce from here or Tesla is done. We shall see. Let's look at the NASDAQ 100, the big boys. Now let's look at some of the major ETFs we follow every week. The SMH semiconductors is right at it, here, here, and here. You can see the V bottom with the right-hand extension and the move up to the neckline tells me if we go, we're going to probably run up to 285 and test those highs. Financials broke out big time on Friday, coming out of a large multi-week ascending bull wedge off the trend line. And now the narrowing tops here still have an indication of a possible extension to 145 from 139. Secondary target 152. That looks pretty damn good. And the biotechs popped out too on Friday out of a falling wedge to get up near resistance. It was a big move for them, 7.5% on that LABU ETF. There is a quadruple top area at 150 that needs to be taken care of. Initial resistance would be the moving averages right about 128.5 3/4, just above here. Let's look at those ETFs we follow. Now on oil, watching USO, pop, pullback, pop, and an inside day Friday. So if we get to the double top at 79, oil could run to 82.3, my next target. I'd be careful at Thursday's low, but stop under 75.5. I want to play that one tight. Gas, well, Boyle going nowhere as the gas backs off. The KOLD comes on again. right back up to resistance. So this could get interesting. If this is going to fail, it'll fail right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a fifth wave comes. If it's a three-wave corrective, we'll be right back up quickly to test that 82.3 range on KOLD. So interesting that USO and KOLD oil and gas ETFs both have $83 targets and resistance there. Silver and gold, well, good day for the GDX. Thursday was a pop, Friday was a fall through. It looks like the falling channel here, very similar to what we had here and here, maybe on the breakout mode, leading this to 43 and 45 as targets. The GLD itself, which is gold now 245, is at an all-time high just beneath it. And in a beautiful rising accelerating channel, now looking for 255. In that sector, gold and the NUGT, similar rising pattern, stair-stepping its way higher. The next target is high 50, 60. I'm going to move on to go over a lot of stocks. Folks, this list is larger than usual, but I was compelled to have you look at these because they're very, very bullish. Some may be extended, some may be breaking out. Let's take a look. Alcoa, double bottomed, ran up, got the resistance, formed a flag, and broke out Friday. If it extends, which I think it might, 43 and 45.5 are your near-term targets. Once you get through that, you're looking all the way up here in the mid-50s, if that occurs. AAOIs, tech trader swing since it broke out again early September, it continues to push. Now a target at 20 and 24. AEHR exploded Friday after popping out Thursday. Look at the volume on Friday. 10 million shares traded on a breakout above resistance and above the decline top line. Likely to extend, in my opinion. I'm now looking for 1922. In the gold sector, AEM, one of the leading ones, Agnico Eagle, came out of a large coil and has been running up off the February lows at 44 and change to nearly double to 85 and change. The pullback now is gentle enough and indicates to me, if this may not be done, that your next target is 90. Afrm, very similar to AAOI, came out of a falling channel, breakaway gap, back and fill, triple bottom testing here, held. Last week was a good week for Friday in particular, up 484, 11.5%. As volume increases to 20 million. Breakthrough here, we're probably going to mid-high 50s. AGI in the gold sector, Alamos breaks out of a base and has been running for 6 months now, with a new target now at 22, 2.5. AGX in the construction group, one of the stronger charts on Wall Street. And look at that beautiful base and breakout, which saw the stock go from the high 30s to 115, 116. So it's extended, overbought, but great momentum. ALAB in the semiconductor group broke across resistance here and ran hard last week. It did it with a big breakaway gap on volume, which is unusual during a trend, but that's more of a running gap. And I'd have to say momentum should carry this to 78. APLD breaks out 3 weeks ago, forms a perfect flag. Keep an eye on this one. Should it bust out, 12 and 15 are targets. App has been a phenomenal chart for almost 2 years now, having gone from just under 10, 9.5 range to 147. And yet, even though it's at the top of the channel, it's accelerating. This is a very, very strong chart with big momentum. Apps. Friday was a breakout day for it on our swing. I'm now looking for this one to make 4.5, 3/4, and then 6. ASTS was one of our better swings this year with a breakaway pop, little pullback. We went long. It's gone from the 4-5 range into the almost 40 range, reaching 39 or so, and then it digested that gain with a slow pullback. Again, it's going to need to, in my mind, over 27 with energy to get it going again. If so, targets 32 and 36. Big snapback and a good week for Atomera, 2.5 to over 4. Resistance at about 4.25, 430. If we get through that, 5.25 and 6 are targets. AppPoint a beautiful software chart, breaks out of a base, retests, coils, and just runs up from 5 and change to 12 and change. You can see some long-term resistance right about above here. So my extension target is 13. To get through that, it could accelerate. AXGN, a beautiful long-term chart, particularly since May when it ran from 5 and change to nearly triple, is currently flagging and popped on Friday. If you look at the long-term chart, this massive inverse head and shoulders could or should lead to 20 or better. BBY, I got to show you this chart, a beautiful 2-year base, pop wedge, pop breakout with a breakaway gap, and a beautiful flag. Even if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm looking for another leg to 112, thereabout. BEKE, one of the Chinese stocks that went crazy, and we did a swing on it that really worked well. I ran literally from 13 to 26 and doubled before the pullback brought it back to 20. It did bounce Friday, a point or so, 4.5%. That's your key support. If you're in it, stop on the 20, 20.5. Your target's 26 and 30. Bausch & Lomb coming out of a base with a breakaway gap and then a running gap. Then pulled back on a beautiful flag and broke back out. Not a lot of volume to break out yet, but I am looking for 21 and then 24. BLND, Blend Labs, had a beautiful rising channel for this software stock. It literally has gone from 50 cents to $4.50 or 9-fold. Currently in a double flag. And any move above 4.25 could get you 5.5 and 6. BMEA, nice channel developing on the upside as it keeps stepping its way higher, but it is at key resistance. So this one's going to need to get over 13 before you can say 18 and 20 are targets. Bristol Myers, long-term declining pattern broke. A nice coil developed and broke out. If this gets above 55, 59 and 65 are targets. Bioventus. It V-bottomed back in June of 23, under $1, and it's gone 12-fold, folks. Currently breaking out of a kind of a pennant or coil. My target is 14 and 16. BYRN broke out. We put a swing on it. It did well by reaching target number 1, but it got creamed on an earnings report. Disappointing to me. It technically broke price support, but it's at the moving average and trendline support. Don't give it any further leeway than 13. CAPR, breakaway gap, exploded, flagged, popped on Friday. If this gets through 21, 85, 22, my targets would be high 20s for starters. Kava, big long move. I've seen it go from 30 to 133. This rising coil tells me that it's not done yet, and the target's now 150. In the uranium group, CCJ, the largest firm in that group, double bottom, broke out with a breakaway gap above the moving averages and ran up. Now it's flagging. Targets are 55.6 and then 65.6 if it punches through that. CDNA, I love this chart. Inverse head and shoulder, breakaway gap, beautiful little coil, pop flag, run up and now a multi-week flag, which tells me this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth wave could take it to 42, even 50. Seiko, environmental, beautiful chart, remains in a rising channel, coming out of a 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a 3-wave corrective, maybe a 5-wave move, but it is a coil of sorts. It should have break out above that. High 30s is your target. CELH, explosive move on Thursday. I put a swing on it, but it did not follow through. It did give you an easy early follow through above the moving averages, but a very nasty looking reversal bar has brought it down near support. One bar down doesn't necessarily make a trend make, but it sure puts the kibosh on the move and may have to back and forth for a while and consolidate. CHRW, breakaway gap, rising pattern, another pop. This is basically a 1, 2, 3, and 4. The fifth wave is underway with a 1, 2. I think we're going to see 3, 4, 5 and get this up to 125.30. CLOV broke out. We put a swing on it. The stock keeps running. Coiled, pop. Really nice pattern. Looking for 5 3/4, 7.5. CLPT breaks out of a base, spikes up, and now it's pulled back for about 5 weeks. Consolidating the move. I'm going to need to get it back above 13.5. Then you're looking at 16. CMPO, long base, breakaway gap with volume and then run up to rising channel. This looks excellent. How far it goes, maybe high teens. CMTL, bottoms, coil, breakout, and little pennant. I like the look of it. 5 3/4 and 7 are targets. CNTA, a beautiful long-term 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move. I've taken it from a 3 to 17, a long move, but it's consolidating in here nicely and flagging. And should it extend, I can see 19. Cogent Biosciences exploded, pulled back, and then started a rising channel that's less than 6 months from under 6 to 12, pulling back, forming a coil, and maybe breaking out. Next target 13.5 and 15. Core, COA short coherent, base, breakout, retest, run up hard and then roll over with the rest of the tech stocks in August, but beautiful recovery, and now it's running again, 104. Now new all-time highs. If it does extend, I would look for 118, 125. Comscope breaks out of an inverse head and shoulder here, pulls back, pops and backs off again, but it holds the trend line, and now it's accelerating. Currently in a flag, extension target, $10. CORT breaks out of a base, pops, wedges, does a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's extended in the 5th wave consolidation, always less reliable, but momentum could carry this into the low 50s. CORZ, long coil pop and a little mini one. Popped out again on Friday with a volume of 22 million. Something's up here. I'm looking for mid-teens. Koya, we talked about this for months now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move down. V bottom of right hand extended platform and a breakout with a flag. I think this goes much higher. Eventually, we're looking for 8, 9.5, and 12. CRMD broke out of his base, pulled back and tested, and ran. This is a tech trader swing. It looks great. Continues to look phenomenal. It's come out of a long base pattern here and likely to test 13. Corvus broke out in July, around 2.5, and has nearly tripled. Friday was a nice day for it as it popped about 90 cents. Net was 49 on the day, but volume was for this stock heavy at 825,000. Mid channel line 7.25, and then upper channel is 9.25. Commvault, beautiful long-term chart. I want to show it to you. Big base, breakout right there, rising channel. It's essentially gone from in 1 year from 63 to 163. Carvana, unbelievable stock, just keeps going. Now at my long-term target of 190, but with the channel top angle being drawn like this, your next target could be 300. I kid you not. C1 breaks out of a base, breakaway gap, falling flag, stair steps its way higher. Looks to me like headed for 27 and 30. DJT with a big explosive move up, perhaps because Trump's doing better in the polls, but it's hard to say. Bottom line is it's moved from a low of 11 3/4 to Friday's high at 27.75. So basically more than doubling in 2 weeks. There's resistance at the big declining top line here, so be careful. But it has momentum. Duolingo broke through a quadruple top and ran hard. Now it's coiling. Next target is 345 and 385. EGO Junior Gold Stock, beautiful rising channel. And my target is going to be mid-20s. EOLS breaks through key resistance. Retest it, and it's moving up now. My target is 20. EOSE, also a nice channel runner. Rising wedge of sorts. But should it get through here, it may accelerate towards 5. EVGO popped out a week and a half ago. We've got a beautiful setup flag. We go higher. 8, 9, 11 could be targets. EWTX, after 8 or 9 months of consolidation, had a breakaway gap. A little pennant right there, and now broke out of that. Looks like it's headed for the all-time high around 40. FEIN, Tech Trader Swing, still consolidating, but Friday seemed to start to try to recover, gaining 40 cents. The targets of 14 and 16. FLEX, beautiful long-term rising channel, particularly since mid-2022 when it was trading at around 10, is now more than tripled in the mid-30s, and the channel top target right now is going to be 38.9. FLS, near the top of the channel and lateral price resistance with a beautiful long-term rising pattern. Extension target is 59. FTAT and Howmet, these two in particular, are two of the best aerospace stocks charts I've seen in a long time. How about beginning of 23, 16 and change to 147. HWM, similar. It's gone from 31 to 103. This one doesn't look done either. But these are the two best stocks in aerospace. There's a lot of good stocks in that group. Maybe some mergers going on. Front door, beautiful base, breakout, and a rising pattern tells me this stock is headed high 50s. FTNT breakaway gap, run up and flag, and then break out again at resistance. But if we pop through here, we might see 100 or better. Food 2, part of the Chinese, is a spectacular run, has pulled back dramatically, but not as steep as some of the others. Let's see how this does and whether or not it can hold last week's pullback low at about 100. If so, targeting 130 and above. Junior silver stock Gato in a beautiful rising channel with a flag. I'm looking for 19.5 and 24. GDS, beautiful rising channel as well. Since it was 6, it's nearly quadrupled, tagging 23.80, and now flagging here, targeting 27.8. General Electric, GE Aerospace, long rising channel with a flag. This one wants to go higher. Targets 200 and 239. Gilead coming out of an ascending bull pennant, popped on Friday. Now looking for 88 and 93. Generac. Well, this generator manufacturer, portable generator, in a beautiful rising channel with all the hurricanes going on, it's benefiting. I'm looking for a run at 200, 195, 200. GVA, big construction firm, great chart, continues to rise up, 85 and 90 targets. GXO, rumors of takeover, big breakaway gap on Thursday. The stock last week ran literally from 48 to 63 nearly, 15 points. There is some resistance around 64.5, but my target is going to be 67. Harmony, which is a junior gold silver stock, ready to run again, I think. If it does pop, 13.5 and 15 are targets. Robinhood, base, breakout, slam dunk back to test support, and then run up again. This time to new highs. I got a target of 29 at 32. Harrow, Tech Trader Swing, which popped, it's formed the flag, has gone from literally mid-teens to low 50s. Doesn't look done yet. My target, 70. No kidding. Howmet, we showed you that a few minutes ago, along with FTAI, two of the best aerospace stocks out there with great charts. INOD, big run up from May through August, and then a pullback. Looks pretty orderly. It's on top of support. I think at some point this pops and goes. 24 and 28 are targets. INSG, base, breakout, retest, pop. Extension targets at 34 and 40. INSM with a massive breakaway gap in May, a big a run up, and now a coil. Friday, it may have popped that coil. I'm looking for a run that takes this to 90 and 100, folks. IONQ coming out of a base as well. Friday breakout, 12 million shares, up about 8%. Your target, 12. IoT, Internet of Things, Samsara, looks to me like it might be headed for 60. KNF, Knife River, after breaking out of a multi-month coil, he's got a beautiful flag going. Break out of that, we might see the stock at 100. LASC got hammered a week and a half ago, only to snap back, and then for 3 days set up a little wedgie in here. It's still going to need a move above 10.15. If you see that, it could explode. LBPH broke out, pulled back, and popped again on Friday, jumping 5 points. Could this be ready for the next leg up? That'll take it to 50 and 60. Those are my targets. LITE tech trader swing here, then popped to the target, backed off and went to the second target. My third target is 75 now. Loco, Pollo Loco, the fast food chicken chain, breaking out of a base, wedge, run, and another coil here. To me, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth wave takes me to 16. That's your next target. LPX, Louisiana Pacific, breaks out of a base, stair steps its way higher. Looks to me like it's headed to 125 and then 138. Laird Superfoods, we gave you a swing on this one. Pop wedge, pop flag, pop coil, pop flag. And this is testing the spike high from July. Came in at 646. We reached 666, slightly higher this week. So a breakthrough here, and we're looking for 8 and 9. NUMN with a monster move in July and August, then a long multi-week coil. Popped up, but couldn't get to the high and backed off. Still extending the coil. It's at 50-day moving average. If it holds it here and runs, we might see the stock back 7.5 and 9. Lunar, pop, coil, pop, falling wedge, right at support. Is this ready? It looks like it might be. Watching for a move above 8.5. If it does, 9 3/4 and 12 are targets. Mercury General, the big insurance property casualty insurance company, with a beautiful rising channel. At resistance, but the target is 70. 3M, tech trader swing, which I gave you here, has worked out well. It's gone from the mid-90s to near 140. Met all of my targets. Your next target, however, might be 150.55. MP, money breaking out. That's a tech trader swing. There's a beautiful little coil developed. It broke out on Friday, I believe. 19.22 are your next targets. MSTR and MSTX broke out. Key breakout points. The Mstx ETF I prefer. It's a little different because it came out recently. Has some legs into the mid-40s perhaps. Newmont Mining, one of the biggest gold companies in the world, broke out of the base and kept running. As far as I'm concerned, this keeps going. You'll see mid-60s. Neon node broke out, ran up sharply and pulled back. This has got to hold 7 and stops under that. Your targets are 10.5, 12.5, 15. NET broke out Thursday. We put a swing on it. I think it makes it up to 104 and maybe 110. NINE double bottom pop and rising channel. I think it extends to 22.3. And if it gets crazy, much higher. Nutanix. Well, if you remember, this is one of my favorites for a couple of years, and it finally got hammered in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave decline. B bottomed and right-handed extended and ran up, formed a little bit of a 3-wave corrective and bounced. Right at resistance here. I'm looking for 69.70 and then 74.5. Natera, which I gave you a tech trader swing when it broke out back in March around 80 and made it up to 133, and it's flagging. Next target, 150. Nuvalent broke out and pulled back. We put a swing on it. It's forming a beautiful coil. I think it goes higher. 116 and 128 are targets. ONON breaks out, pulls back, breaks out again. This has been a tech trader swing since back here in May, and it's about 35. It's made it up to 50 plus. Target 60. One of the largest silver companies in the world is Pan American Silver. We have a tech trader swing on it. It broke out Thursday. It got up to resistance, but my targets are going to be 25 and 29. Pitney Bowes, rising channel. Coils forming. Targeting 9. PCT, V bottom with a platform for months, then pop out and retest, and then explode and wedge. I think a test of the July-August 23 highs are in order, and 11 3/4 12. Impinge, one of my favorites all year. In last November, when it popped and formed this little breakout at 59, we put a swing on it. It's now 234, one of the best picks of the year, and still going. Target 265 and 290. PLL, Piedmont Lithium broke out. We put a swing on it. It ran up beautifully and met my targets. Next target would be 17. Palantir into the 40s. This is testing its all-time high up here, a full recovery from a move down to 6. Could have bought that a little less than 2 years ago in the sixes. 592 low. Wow. 43 last. Philip Morris, one of those blue chip stocks, are acting great in here, and I don't think it's done yet. The next target is 140. Poet, pop flag, pop coil, pop falling flag at support, targeting 6, 7, and 9. Powell broke out here. We put a swing on it many moons ago, more than a year ago, but it's gone from 70 to 258. Almost 300% move in about a year and 2 months, and it's still going. PPTA broke out, coiled, popped, and now it's got a rising channel of sorts. 12.5 and 15 are targets. Prime Water's been in a rising channel for over a year, taking it from 13 to doubling to the mid-20s. My target is 30. Personalis, long base breakout wedge, no brainer. Pop that. Now has a coil or flag. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave maybe had. I'm looking for 7 and 9. Rail, wonderful run today, this month, for the last couple of months. It's literally gone from 3 to 14 and still looks good for potentially a move into the high teens. RCAT, RCAT, breaks out of a beautiful long base, forms a wedge, pops, consolidates, multiple tests, and pops again. We're looking for 4.5 and 5. Redwire breaks out of a base, runs hard, pulls back and coils. Breaks out of the coil, is retesting the highs. 9 and 11 are my targets. Rocket Lab breaks out, forms a falling flag, pops and forms another flag. And then now, yet another. I think we're going to 12. RMTI breaks out of a base, flags, pops again, it has a falling wedge, near support. Needs to hold it right there, but if it does, 460, 5 3/4, 6.5, all targets. RNA, one of our better swing trades this year. Basically, it's gone from 7 to 47. And if it gets to 49.5, we're looking at high 50s. Wow. Roku popped, wedge, we put a swing on it, and then popped and coiled, then popped again. Not so much this time, but I am looking for 85.6 and 95. Rush Street Interactive, beautiful base. Breakout, retest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave's underway. May get to mid-high teens. The copper is strong. I showed you FCX. This is SCCO, one of the largest ones in the world. Southern Copper. Beautiful flag after a double bottom breakout. Should we get through that, I would look at retest at 130 and then 145. SEI breaks out platforms, pops again, retest the moving averages. It's running. This might very well see high teens. SCRV, only interested in this stock if it breaks out above 10 3/4 with volume. SFM, phenomenal move for a supermarket chain. Sprouts has gone from 33 to 116. My target is 140. Sweet Greens coming through, triple, quadruple top. Friday was a good day, but it backed off. I still think it's got 48 and 60 the potential. SGMT broke out, put a swing on it, and backed off, but it's moved again on Friday. Had an engulfing bullish day. I'm looking for a move to test 6 and then 8.5. SLI, Standard Lithium, popped and broke out, has some resistance to get through here, but it's very promising with rising OBV and good volume. We may extend this one to 3.5. SMMT broke out of a pop and coil and then extended. Now you can see it's coiling yet again. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4 with a big fifth wave coming that could take it to 50 plus. Wow. SMR, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth wave's underway. Again, this is another one of those that can run. I'm up 17. It could be 8, 20, and 25. SN, Shark Ninja, nothing but up since they went public, basically. Taking it from the high 20s to 107.8. May extend to 125. SPRY, Tech Trader Swing, broke out, retested, popped, falling wedge, and now flagging. I'm looking for this one to pop again, 18 and 21 targets. SRTS, breaking back out of a coil pattern that took months to develop. If it goes, I'm looking for 8 and 9.5. SVM is another junior miner breaking out to the highest level since 21, 4-year high. My target is 6 3/4. SYM, inverse head and shoulder and breakout. I would look for at least a test of 36 and a run up to the declining top stop. My favorite marijuana stock is this one, TCNNF. True Leave, book the base, platforming. I think we're headed to 14. Teva Pharmaceuticals, beautiful long-term rising channel. Enough of a consolidation now. First resistance and target 18.5 to 19, and we get through that. You're looking at that lower mid-20s. TGI with a fantastic reversal Thursday on a takeover rumors. I think we're going to make it to at least 17.5, maybe 21. Technoglass has been in a phenomenal uptrend for 4 years now, taking it from literally $2 to 75. Amazing move, and yet it doesn't look done yet, but it is extended. Now, one of the Chinese stocks that exploded last week was Tigr. It went from 3 3/4 to 14.40. Amazing move. Now the pullback did a retracement, enough to set us up for another move up, perhaps. Target is 10 3/4 to 12. TKNO, well, I've been watching this stock for weeks now. It's exploding from $1 to $5. It then went sideways for 2 months and coiled. May have broken out Friday. Watch this one going forward next week. My target is 6 and 7. Repositrack or TRAK, beautiful rising channel. I got a target in the mid-20s. Really good looking chart. Trupanion, the insurance company, broke out and flagged and it's popping now. I think it goes. Swing is 69 and 77. Tower Semi in a beautiful rising channel since last October when it was 22 has doubled to 46. The rising channel top and taking out resistance, by the way, tells me 50 is a target. TTEK, beautiful rising channel. Mid-50s target. Excellent technicals and anything else. TWG, spectacular move last week. Just wanted to show it to you. Anytime a stock goes from 2 to 860 in 1 day and 158 million, it's worth noting. Careful on it though. It may need to set up for a little bit. It's extended. The Uber had a breakout day. So did Lyft, but Uber in particular got a V bottom with a right hand extended and a pop-up. I'm now targeting 96 and 115. Swing trade UIS popped. I put a swing on it. I like the look of this chart. I like the company. A V bottom with a right hand extended platform and a breakout tells me it goes to 8 and then 9.5. Unified, the food company, broke out of an inverse head and shoulders or at least some sort of basing pattern with a breakaway gap and now wedging. I like this for 24 and 30. VERI swing trade broke out and then reversed. So it didn't hold the breakout. That's disappointing. Be very careful with that one. VERX in a beautiful rising channel popped this coil and now it's flagging. I got to give you a target around mid-40s. VFC, V bottom, platform, breakout, rising channel. Channel top target tells me we could be in the mid-20s. VIPS ripped. That was another Chinese stock that ran. I wanted to show it to you. The pullback was orderly enough. If you can hold it right there and form some sort of wedge or coil or flag, I'm going to look for high teens and 20. VIRT, nice chart. 16, 32 is double. And I'm thinking it's making a run at the high. So I'm looking for 38 as a target. Okay, 1 second. Got ahead of myself here. Stay with me. VOXX, explosive breakaway gap, and now a platform. Friday had an engulfing reversal bar and popped. Now targeting 9 and 11.5. VRNA in a beautiful rising channel with a current flag tells me it's not done yet either. Mid-30s target. Veronis, long-term beautiful channel. I think the top of that channel is in the mid-70s. That's where it measures. Wave, popped the coil, broke out through resistance from the wedge and popped again. This one has Momo. 7 3/4 and 10 are targets. Long-term swing WGS popped here. We put a swing on it around 18. It's made it up to 60. This one looks like it could be headed to 70. Wolf popped out on Friday. Probably a swing. It's at resistance though. Targets of 14 and 17. Wolf broke out too, formed a flag and popped. Now it's got a little wedge. Target is 7. Wheaton Precious Metals, the largest silver purveyor in the world. I have a $69 target. WVE wave breaks out of a big base, spikes and forms a little pullback falling wedge. This is intriguing. Keep an eye on it for a move to 11. XPEV, the Chinese automotive stock, pop and a nice wedge, held up better than some of the other Chinese stocks. If it should pop 14, I would look for 17. Zeta, one of my better picks of the year as well. Pop, flag in the 15 range, has gone up to 34 at the high with a beautiful rising channel. Doesn't look done yet. $40 target. And finally, ZVRA makes out of a big multi-year base. Pops to retest, pops again, and retest, and pops again. So if we get through here, $11 is my target. Folks, I'm going to call it good there. I don't have a lot of charts to discuss. There's a few that we had left over from the Tech Trader Swing list. That's about it, though. I'll be covering them later in the week. For now, this is HP signing off. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Let's make some money on Monday. Bye now.